Gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
This is a great YouTube video. Angus Young, AC/DC, playing George Benson's on Broadway, but I don't know if it's real or not. Someone who can play the guitar, obviously, pulled that video out. I don't know, kind of just matched it up where it sort of looked like Angus Young and AC/DC were playing George Benson's on Broadway. Pretty good version of the song, though, regardless. And the video's pretty cool. Angus Young is a madman from AC/DC. Hey, it is Friday, yes, a Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Are you kidding me? Let's do this thing on a Fantasy Friday. Hey, let's get it started off right, too. Why don't you pull out your wallet, grab that credit card, debit card, go to humanela.org. It'll take you about 3 minutes. Donate $5, $10, $20, 35, 50, 75, 100. Some of you could donate $500. I promise you this. It'll get your weekend started off right, and you literally will be saving cats and dogs and kittens and puppies and horses and goats, all kind of animals. I mean, a few facts comparing apples to apples. Louisiana as a state, we don't fare too well versus the rest of the country, other states, how we treat animals. Kind of inhumanely. We have 64 parishes, and less than half of the 64 parishes even have a shelter. And some of the shelters are embarrassing. Outside, just fencing with like a blue tarp roof and a bunch of animals in kennels underneath. Horrible. No, we need to do a lot better. That's where Jeff Dorson and the Humane Society of Louisiana come in. About 35 years ago, Jeff came down from Indiana, where he's from, saw the problem in Louisiana. I'm going to go down there for a few weeks and make a difference and get some things jump-started. 35 years later, he has not left. And still nowhere near crossing the goal line. We're still woefully behind other states. Just a fact, not an opinion. We've got to do better. Still a lot of no-kill shelters. Locally, right here, Louisiana SPCA in New Orleans, they put down 1,000 animals a year, 1,000 animals a year, like average 3 a day. It's sickening. No, that's where the Humane Society of Louisiana comes in. They don't put down animals. They find homes for animals. They rehabilitate animals. Animals that are left in the woods tied to a tree, emaciated, animals that are neglected, going into some trailer at a rural parish, and there are 40 dogs in there. Cats, dogs, kittens, and puppies. All they do, it's endless, is save animals. But they only can do it with money, with donations. They're a nonprofit. They don't get any money from the city or state. I don't know what the Louisiana SPCA does, honestly. They get about $2 million annually from the city of New Orleans. They get millions in donations by default. They're the SPCA. People die and they love animals. Give the money to the SPCA. Really should look into that. Don't assume. The Louisiana SPCA in New Orleans, I think, really struggles. Unorganized, put down animals, not responsive, don't have enough vehicles or manpower to do what they're supposed to do in the city that they're getting paid to do in the city. No, the city gives them the $2 million and looks the other way. No, the Humane Society of Louisiana, other organizations like it, they take up the slack. So every Thursday,
I toss Jeff Dorson a bone around 4:50 every Thursday. You'll notice for about 3, 4, 5 minutes, Jeff joins me on the program once a week. And every week it's a new story. 30 dogs here, 42 dogs seized there, 6 dogs there. This horse was emaciated. These 3 horses we seized. It's just on and on every week, a different story. The only way they keep going is by donations, by us. So I like tossing them a bone on Thursdays, pun intended. And every May, the entire month of May, we hold our Humane May fundraiser, where the goal is $10,000. We're trying to raise $10,000 in the month of May for the Humane Society of Louisiana. We're halfway through the month. We've got about this show and 10 other programs Monday through Friday next week, Monday through Friday the following week. The end of May is 2 weeks from tomorrow. So 10 more shows. We got to raise like $800 a show. We're like north of $8,000 short of our $10,000 goal, and we're more than halfway through the month. So we're way behind pacing. Instead of being like at $5,300, $5,400 right now, we're like $4,000 below that. We're at like $1,400 instead of like $5,400. No, more than halfway through the month. 10 shows left after today. We got a long way to go. Please go to the website and donate. HumaneLA.org. HumaneLA.org is the website. HumaneLA.org. Please go to the website and please donate. Let's save some cats and dogs. It's that simple. Let's save some animals. Let's do it. Fantasy Friday edition of the program. It's hot out there. My goodness. 90, 91, feels like 93. All weekend long, more of this. Rinse and repeat. No rain. We start off high 70s every morning, high 70s. Last night, I think it was 11 o'clock, 11:15. I looked at the temperature. It was 81. I was like, that's harsh. No, we start the day in the high 70s and the high temperatures every day, low 90s all weekend. We might get like right now it's 90, feels like 93. We might get like a 91, 92 degrees, feels like 100 tomorrow or Sunday, and even going into Monday. A hot one. Yeah, lots of agua, H2O, water. Stay hydrated. Stay inside. Speaking of animals, they can't be outside during the day. Can't just leave your dog in the backyard. He's an alarm system. And the elderly, people that, need help, that don't live in air conditioning. There's a lot of people in New Orleans that don't have air conditioning. No, make sure that between like 10 a.m. and 2 or 3, 4 in the afternoon, for sure take them shopping. Go to the grocery store. Go to Lakeside Shopping Center. Go to one of the public libraries in New Orleans. Go to one of the local community centers in New Orleans where it's air conditioned. Hang out there for that like 10 a.m. to 3, 4 in the afternoon gimmick, just to get out of the heat, the oppressive heat. Major breaking news on this Friday, kind of mind-blowing. 10 inmates escaped from the Orleans Parish Jail. 10 inmates escaped from the Orleans Parish Jail. They escaped around midnight. The sheriff's department didn't know about it till about 8:30 in the morning. Travers Mackle from WDSU Channel 6 gets a tip around 9:45 or so. Calls the sheriff's department. They deny that there is an escape. The sheriff's department, finding out about the escape at 8:30, doesn't alert the NOPD for 2 hours till 10:30. Didn't alert the general public and the media till about 11 a.m. Ten inmates escaped the Orleans Parish Jail. One rearrested. One of the 10 rearrested. 9 on the loose. 7 of the 9 murder charges, some multiple murders. No, apparently they cut a hole in a wall and escaped. Obviously, I mean, I shouldn't say obviously, it's New Orleans. It's Louisiana. We have a defeatist mentality. But this is not, it's two things. It's not only under Sheriff Susan Hudson's watch, the way she responded to it today, the 2-hour delay before notifying the NOPD, the first media press conference where she didn't take any questions, another one a few hours later where each media outlet was allowed one question, like these rules. This shows you the incompetence of allowing the escape, and 2, how she handled it. It's just going to be more of this in the future if she's reelected. I mean, this should be clearly a knockout punch where it crushes Sheriff Susan Hudson's reelection bid. But first things first, there are 9 violent criminals that DA Jason Williams and other law enforcement types say are armed and dangerous.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Some people think paint is paint. Well, it ain't. Paint ain't paint. At Helm Paint, we only sell Benjamin Moore because it's the best paint on the planet. In the end, you'll save time, effort, and money because Benjamin Moore paints cover beautifully in less coats. So the next time you pick up a brush, remember, big box, big mistake. Because paint ain't paint. To get the best, you gotta go to Helm. Let us steer you right. Helm Paint.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes, a magazine as unique as you.
Tired of cleaning your gutters? Improve the value and look of your home with Leaf Guard gutters. And you'll never have to clean your gutters again. Ever. I guarantee it. Let Audubon Gutters install Leaf Guard gutters today. You'll improve the look and value of your home. And right now is the perfect time during Audubon Gutters' 99-cent installation sale. Call 469-6494 now. Get out of that gutter and get on the phone. At Audubon Gutters.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Greater New Orleans, a destination for learning. With 13 colleges and universities and a booming job market, Greater New Orleans is the ultimate destination for your higher education. Your path to the future begins in Greater New Orleans. Find out more at studynola.com.
Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
I like Francesca Deli. I like Francesca Deli. They do have a good sloppy roast beef. Corey Johnson back at you. Thanks so much for joining us. A Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Our Humane May fundraiser going on as we speak. HumaneLA.org is the website to donate. No, major breaking news. 10 inmates escaped from the Orleans Parish Jail. Just beyond unacceptable, inexcusable, crazy. They cut a hole in a wall, maybe behind a toilet or sink, and escape into a common area and end up getting out of the jail. And on the wall, they write like, "See you later. This was too easy." Like they are making fun of Sheriff Susan Hudson and those that jail them, the jailers at the Orleans Parish Jail. So these 10 violent criminals, 8 of the 9, or excuse me, 7 of the 10 murder, either accused of murder, indicted on murder, some multiple murders. No, these are dangerous criminals. One of the 10, Kendall Miles, was recaptured by Troop NOLA in the French Quarter. 7 of the 9 that remain at large have some type of murder charge, some multiple murders. Crazy. No, what I said going into the break, two things that just make Susan Hudson look awful. 1, the fact that this happened. 2, the way she handled it. Like for 2 hours, you've got 10 violent criminals roaming the streets of New Orleans. They've escaped from the jail. And the sheriff finds out about 8 hours after the fact. They escape around midnight. The sheriff's office finds out about the escape around 8:30 a.m., which is mind-blowing. I mean, there's not a head count like at 5:30, 6 a.m. Well, 8:30 until you realize they're gone. That's mind-blowing. Then chooses not to notify the NOPD. The sheriff's just jailers, and they, go and hand out summons and things of that nature. They're not NOPD out making arrests like the police are. They're a sheriff. They're a different entity than in New Orleans. Not like Jefferson Parish. The sheriff is all of it in one. In New Orleans, there's a sheriff's department and there's the mayor. The sheriff is elected by the public. They have 2 different roles. So the sheriff department can't send out units and sheriff deputies. Let's find those criminals and not let the NOPD know about it. Right away, you let the NOPD know. Oh, my God, we've had an escape. At least 10 are out there. And 7 of the 10 have murder charges. They're violent criminals. So for 2 hours, Susan Hudson does nothing as far as notifying the NOPD. Like just trying to keep it secret. So the fact that it happens, coupled with the way the mayor, the sheriff responded.
are just very telling. Like, none of that's going to change. It's not like when I get my system in, there won't be escapes, and I'll handle things in a more transparent, proper, correct way, not run and hide from the media. Have one press conference where I just make a statement and no questions. Have a follow-up a few hours later where some media members are allowed one question each. Just crazy. Channel 6 WDSU's website did a great job. 8:30 a.m., sheriff learns inmates escaped. 8:53 a.m., WDSU receives tip of escaped inmates. 9:55, 2 minutes later, WDSU reaches out to the sheriff and NOPD about the escape. They were not aware of an escape. 10:23, WDSU breaks the story that 11 inmates escaped the jail. It's actually 10. 11 a.m., the public was notified of the inmates escaping 2.5 hours after the sheriff department knew about it. 30 minutes after they notified the NOPD, they notify the public at 11 a.m., 2.5 hours later. At 11:22, Kendall Myers, I thought it was Kendall Miles actually, captured in the French Quarter. 11:30, Sheriff Susan Hudson holds a news conference but doesn't allow the media to ask questions. Just mind-blowing. Just put out a statement. Why'd you even show up? It's pathetic. Do your job. 10 minutes later, 11:40, the NOPD confirms Kendall Miles was captured. 1:37 p.m., the sheriff's office releases photos of a hole dug by the inmates. 2:34 p.m., Nola Reddy sends citywide alert on escaped inmates, warning the public. 2:37 p.m., Sheriff Susan Hudson provides update on escaped inmates. They allow one question per news reporter. 2:45, Sheriff Susan Hudson confirms only 10 inmates escaped and 9 are being sought. Good timeline by Channel 6 WDSU. You can check it out on their website. No, just this should never happen. The way this sheriff is very non-transparent, just deviant, deceptive, learning on the fly still. We can't afford this. We can't have a sheriff learning on the fly. I'm not going to sit here and say, boy, Marlon Gusman was the greatest sheriff ever, blah, 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 blah. But man, this change for change sake, and someone that's hyper woke and going to learn on the fly, we can't afford any of that. We can't afford. By 2030, I'll have my system in place and it'll be a smooth run operation. I mean, just a few weeks ago, the sheriff's department, by 4 votes, like 25,000 cast, 4 votes, the sheriff's office gets this tax renewal for, I think, what, 12, 15 mil a year? And then this happens. So no, in any normal society, this would crush, eliminate Susan Hudson from the sheriff's race. Impossible for her to get reelected. Impossible. But in New Orleans, Louisiana, we love black, white, Republican, Democrat. We love cutting off our nose to spite our face. When we know better, we'll still dig down even deeper and vote black, white, Democrat, Republican. No, just something mentally wrong with a lot of people in New Orleans and in Louisiana with that mentality, coupled with the love of the deviant criminal politicians like the Edwin Edwards, Bill Jefferson, you name it, Ilario, Heitmeyers, Nagin, Broussard, Mark Morial. I mean, it's the denial of like the Morial administration, like great leader, honest man, honorable man. I mean, just this denial. Black, white, it's Edwin Edwards. If our Cajun governor was governor again, everything would be great. Yeah, sorry, Cajun community. This yat from New Orleans, I'm 25% Cajun, 25% Cajun blood running through my veins, which is 25% more than the Cajun blood running through Edwin Edwards' veins. You drop someone in from Kentucky, you bring someone in from France, they have kids, and they have a kid, and that kid grows up in Cajun country and has a Cajun accent and embraces Cajun tradition. Doesn't make him Cajun at all. I could bring in someone from England as a baby and put them in Cajun country, and they'd have a Cajun accent and embrace the Cajun culture. That doesn't make them Cajun. Edwin Edwards has zero Cajun blood, or had zero Cajun blood running through his veins. So we like to believe what we want to believe. We hope things are true. And, we hook our wagon to like Mark Morial and Edwin Edwards and Bill Jefferson and the Lario or Heitmeyer brothers, people like that. I mean, expect to lose when you do that. Vote in Susan Hudson, and it just thing after thing after thing of just deviant, crazy behavior, hiring this woman friend, hiring the son. They don't do anything. Hiring Kristen Morales, who gets fired from the Inspector General's office for theft. But it's her pal, her old roommate, may have been in a relationship. I don't even care about that, but they have a connection. So she hires her friend, puts her in second in charge. I mean, on and on and on. 6 figures, salaries, crazy. And now the escape and how the sheriff handled the escape. Awful. No, you've got to address the media. You have to take questions. You have to be upfront. You have to be, transparent. When you found out at 8:30, you have to notify the NOPD at 8:31. Did you see the timeline? Channel 6 finds out at 9:53. They get a tip. 9:55, 2 minutes later, they're doing their job as journalists, finding out if the sheriff or the NOPD know about it, what they have to say. And they're saying they know nothing about the escape. At 8:30, Susan Hudson in the Sheriff's Department finds out. 8:33, they're calling the NOPD. 8:31, not 10:30, 2 hours later, and they're notifying the public 2.5 hours later, while 10 violent criminals are roaming the streets of New Orleans. What a crazy day. Now, this should eliminate Susan Hudson's reelection chances, but sadly in New Orleans, who knows? Maybe it enhances them. Who knows? Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Yeah, you right.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamarck Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We're doing all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience. Right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com. Outdoor dining, Middle Eastern cuisine, under the oak trees, Lebanon's Cafe, some of the city's finest lamb chops and shish kebab, Carrollton at Jeanette by the streetcar barn, Lebanon's Cafe.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live. We live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love, more. When you do something, you have to do it right. You know, it's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City.
Tired of cleaning your gutters? Improve the value and look of your home with Leaf Guard gutters. And you'll never have to clean your gutters again, ever. I guarantee it. Let Audubon Gutters install Leaf Guard gutters today. You'll improve the look and value of your home. And right now is the perfect time during Audubon Gutters' 99-cent installation sale. Call 469-6494 now. Get out of that gutter and get on the phone. At Audubon Gutters.
Does Helm Paint have the best paint on the planet? Helm, yeah. We only sell Benjamin Moore, the world's finest paint. Because paint ain't paint. Let us steer you right. Helm Paint.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes are magazine, as unique as you.
Total maintenance keeps you cool. Total maintenance keeps you cool. Total maintenance keeps you cool. TM-AC.com, your cool spots. Total maintenance keeps you cool. TM-AC.com, your cool spots.
I like the Total Maintenance song. All local New Orleans musicians, real professional musicians. From like Rebirth, Bonorama. Great stuff. Yeah, and if you need AC help in New Orleans or Baton Rouge, think Total Maintenance. TM-AC.com. 9 of 10 violent criminals on the loose after a jail escape from Orleans Parish Prison, which is run by Sheriff Susan Hudson in the Sheriff's Department. She's doing just a lousy job as sheriff. Just so many instances of exactly what you don't want. Ego, power trip, setting up friends and family types with jobs. I mean, there's a guy right now on WBOK radio. I used to work with this guy. He's like an FM disc jockey years ago. Behind his back, everyone used to call this guy like Mr. Payola because he would take money from local musicians, cash, and put their song that had no business being on the radio, like at drive time. You know, and just did that kind of stuff. Then later, when he faded over to talk radio, like, you know, you're in quote radio. So being a DJ or talk host, it's the same thing. You know, it's like, it is. Anyway, just lightweight, no depth, no experience. Just might say one thing on Monday, the opposite on Tuesday. Gets into talk radio and opens a bank account with like the radio station's name with something else after it. And then starts collecting checks for the radio station and puts the little whatever word after or before that his bank account name is and starts depositing the checks into his own account. So kind of a deviant, a guy that goes on the air and doesn't like the IG's office, doesn't like Raphael Goyeneche and the Metropolitan Crime Commission. This is just another typical Susan Hudson gimmick. This guy gets the sheriff on his show, and this guy gets the mayor on his show. And literally
inserts his head up their rear end, essentially, just a big butt kiss. And it's like softball question after softball question. It's embarrassing. No pride, no honor, no integrity. I mean, there's a responsibility when there's a mic and a camera in front of you. Or I guess you can just sell out. So this guy sells out big time. And a lot of the time it's strictly on a race base. Everything's race. Everything's race. Just the biggest excuse maker about his sort of pathetic life because he's just sort of kind of a pathetic cat. Susan Hudson hires him. Full-time job, full benefits, full-time salary, probably the largest salary of his life. This guy works full-time for Susan Hudson and the Orleans Parish Sheriff's Department and does a drive time radio program in New Orleans and has the sheriff on all the time and proceeds to kiss her butt and promote her and act like she's great. And she's doing a fantastic job, all the while working full-time, receiving a check from Susan Hudson. If you ever read something in the Times-Picayune, you'll see something, an article written, and then you'll be like, John George's or Dathel George's own XYZ or are invested in this or used to own that. And it's part of the story. So like the Times-Picayune's disclaiming like, here's the story. We stand by it, but we're letting you know the owner may have had an interest in this business at once upon a time or still does or whatever. And like, judge it how you want. We're letting you know this fact that's pertinent. This guy does a show every day. I mean, there should be a disclaimer every day. By the way, he works for the Sheriff's Department full-time, is on the taxpayer's dime, doing what? Who knows? Doesn't have any kind of degree in criminology or any experience as a policeman or sheriff. None. Doesn't have any experience in anything that I know of except doing a little radio. No, just mind-blowing. That's Susan Hudson in the Sheriff's Department. Oh, here's a radio host that's getting fired or let go, doesn't draw a big enough audience, doesn't have any advertisers, doesn't generate money for the station. Just a fact. Just a fact. Not doing live endorsements, none of that. Show doesn't gain traction in reality. Guy's going to get let go. Susan Hudson steps up. Hey, how about he keeps doing his show and I'll pay him? I'll make him a Sheriff's Department full-time employee. I mean, I wish I were making this up. I wish I were making this up. It's unbelievable. Paying someone that does a talk show in New Orleans that pretends they're just a talk show host when they are a full-time Orleans Parish Sheriff's Deputy. It should be called the Sheriff's Show or the Orleans Parish Deputy Show or something. The fact that Susan Hudson, under her watch, this escape happened. And what's worse than the escape, the way the sheriff handled it. The escape happens around midnight. The sheriff doesn't know until 8:30. Like, there's no head count until 8:30 in the morning. What? Hey, we're sleeping in today? I don't know about you. When's the last time you slept until 8:30? Now, you folks that work overnight, you understand what I'm saying. Just adjust the clock. You know, if you're waking up at 3:30, when's the last time you woke up at 5:30 or 6:30? You know what I'm saying? When is the last time you slept until 8:30? I would say 90+% of us that, you know, work for our money, earn our money. You know, a lot of us paycheck to paycheck type stuff, you know? Working and earning your money. Working and earning your money. When's the last time you slept till 8:30? When's the last time you had a full-time job with the Sheriff's Department making a decent salary and nothing's required of you except to go on your talk radio program and praise the sheriff and the department? No, the fact that happened is terrible. For the sheriff, what's worse is how she handled it. Midnight escape. Don't find out till 8:30, not like 5:30. Don't notify the NOPD until 10:30, 2 hours after you know about the escape. Like, I don't know, trying to cover your rear end, I don't know, something. and then not notifying the public for 2.5 hours after the escape. And that's after, I shouldn't say 2.5 hours after the escape, 2.5 hours after the sheriff's department realized it, 11 hours after the escape, 10 plus hours after the escape on the street. I mean, the sheriff is more worried about herself and how she can cover this up than notifying the NOPD and notifying the public, because there are 10 violent criminals roaming the streets. The latest and greatest, I think Susan Hudson in the Sheriff's Department released a statement saying they believe some people inside the jail must have helped these criminals escape. You think? You think? What a crazy Friday. Insane. Insane. Antoine Massey jailed on charges of domestic abuse involving strangulation and theft of a car. Lenton Van Buren facing charges of illegally carrying a weapon, possession of a firearm or weapon by a felon, obstruction of justice, and introducing contraband into a prison. Leo Tate facing charges of second-degree murder, attempted second-degree murder, obstruction of justice, simple burglary of a dwelling, possession of a firearm or weapon by a felon, and illegal carrying of a weapon. Kendall Miles facing charges of intention to conceal a weapon, introducing contraband into a prison, possession of contraband. Miles was taken into custody earlier today. Derek Groves jailed on 3 counts of attempted second-degree murder. He'd just been convicted in the case. DeCannon Dennis faces multiple illegal weapons charges, extortion, kidnapping, armed robbery, and theft charges. Gary Price jailed on charges of simple assault, criminal damage, domestic abuse, battery, and assault with a weapon. Corey Boyd faces charges of second-degree murder, attempted second-degree murder, obstruction of justice, and threatening a law enforcement officer. Robert Moody booked on charges of jailed on weapon and drug charges. Jermaine Donald jailed on illegal weapons charges. 9 of the 10 still on the loose. Crazy. Corey Johnson with you on a Friday. Hey, I mentioned total maintenance. It's hot out there. It's going to be a scorcher all weekend long. 90 plus. It's 90 plus right now. 90 plus tomorrow. 90 plus Sunday. Maybe 90 plus on Monday. Total maintenance is there for you in New Orleans, in Baton Rouge, if you need air conditioning help. It's simple. Just think total maintenance. TM-AC.com. Just think total maintenance. TM-AC.com. I'm pretty heartbroken as a Louisianian today. What remains of the Nottoway plantation is sickening. A massive fire just gutted this historic plantation since 1859, 166 years old. How we don't have fire suppressant systems in all of these antebellum plantation homes that are irreplaceable. 1859, largest plantation in the South. Pretty much burned to the ground. Pretty much burned to the ground. I mean, when you see like the chimney still standing and that's like it, no, it's sickening. A little bit of the facade in the front still standing. When the roof goes, you're done. I mean, I guess they can rebuild it. They know what it looks like. They have the plans. They can rebuild it. But it's just rebuilt. It's not the original. It's sad.
Some people think paint is paint. Well, it ain't. Paint ain't paint. At Helm Paint, we only sell Benjamin Moore because it's the best paint on the planet. In the end, you'll save time, effort, and money because Benjamin Moore paints cover beautifully in less coats. So the next time you pick up a brush, remember, big box, big mistake. Because paint ain't paint. To get the best, you gotta go to Helm. Let us steer you right.
Helm Paint and Supply.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center. It's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof. Now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes, a magazine as unique as you.
When USA Today ranked the 10 best must-visit New Orleans restaurants for travelers, Mid-City's own Katie's made the list. USA Today says Scott Craig is chef-owner at Katie's, a much-loved Creole Italian eatery that draws armies of regulars for lunch, brunch, and dinner. A neighborhood spot where locals congregate and New Orleans-style hospitality rules. Indeed it does. Katie's in Mid-City.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com. Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com. Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Yeah, you're right, Crescent City. Corey Johnson back at you on a Friday. It's hot out there, no rain. Maybe you knock out that outdoor painting job or the indoor job in the air conditioning. Helm Paint Decorating's got you covered, literally, because paint ain't paint. High quality Benjamin Moore paint, the best paint on the planet, the inventors of color paint. When you got to paint in Metro New Orleans, when you got to paint in Metro Baton Rouge, 7 New Orleans locations, 4 Baton Rouge locations, all with that high quality Benjamin Moore paint, because paint ain't paint. Helm Paint and Decorating. That goes in the old no-brainer category if you're a New Orleanian, and you Baton Rouge folks have learned about it the last couple of years. Say no to the big box. Say no to the chain store, the national chain paint store. Why would I go there? Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Yeah, the weekend's upon us. I like, kind of recognizing Friday. We'll do it in about 10 minutes with the 5 o'clock whistle. No, because I'm telling you, like Saturday night, Sunday, all of a sudden it's like Sunday night. You're like, where'd the weekend go? I was just celebrating that it was Friday, and now it's Sunday night. So no, really, I try to take it in. I love the weekend like everybody else, but it goes by quick, and all of a sudden it's, you're back at work Monday, right back into the grind. So we'll blow the 5 o'clock whistle and put the spotlight on that kind of line of demarcation where the work week heads into the history books and the weekend, all of it is entirely in front of us. Humane May fundraiser going on right now. Please donate. Let's save some animals. HumaneLA.org. The only way we save animals, the only way the Humane Society of Louisiana saves animals is if we get involved and donate. HumaneLA.org. Major breaking news. 10 inmates escaped the Orleans Parish Jail. Escaping around midnight. The sheriff's office didn't know about it until around 8:30 this morning. Around 9:50, WDSU's Travers Mackle gets a tip, calls the sheriff's department. They say, no, there's no escape. When they knew about it an hour and 15 minutes earlier. They didn't alert the NOPD till 10:30. So their timeline is we find out about the escape at 8:30, which to me is mind-blowing. Like, that's the first bed check. They don't alert the NOPD for 2 hours later. They don't alert the public for 2.5 hours later. While for hours, 10, 11 hours, these 10 violent criminals are roaming the streets. One of the 10 has been caught by Troop NOLA. 9 still on the loose, apparently cutting a hole in a wall and eventually escaping, scaling the wall and running across I-10. I mean, I have it written as part of my show sheet. Obviously, this crushes Sheriff Susan Hudson's reelection bid, but it's New Orleans. You have people that will stay on a loser's side forever, stay on the wrong side forever, be contrary just to be contrary. We see it everywhere. Black, white, Republican, Democrat. And we have the extremes here. In New Orleans, it's not like mainstream moderate Democrats. It's loony, leftist, crazy, woke, hyper woke, loony Democrats. And then around Louisiana, it's not a lot of mainstream Republicans, conservatives. It's hyper right, evangelical, kind of wacky right. So we have these squeaky wheel extremes. And people cling to it, man. They embrace it no matter what. They will pound their head against a cinder block wall till they pass out. No, it's a nightmare. This was crazy, though. This is nutty. This is where you have a hyper woke sheriff that is learning on the fly, that is kind of a deviant, like has the old school New Orleans, Louisiana, Edwin Edwards, Hilario type mentality. Civic minded, that's down the road. I'm here to set up myself. I'm here to set up friends and family. And there's just too many examples of that going on in the sheriff's department. And now this escape and the way this sheriff handled the escape. Not notifying the NOPD for 2 hours, endangering the public, not letting the public know for 2.5 hours. And then has a press conference, but no questions, media. We're just going to have a statement. I'm going to make a statement and walk away. No questions. Then has another one, but limits the media to one question each, no follow-up question. It's just crazy. Lack of transparency. This is what you get. This is what you'll get if this happens again, if she's reelected. Plays by her own rules, tries to justify it, excuse making, whatever. So the escape is bad enough. But the way this sheriff handled it is typical. And I don't think we need a rinse and repeat on this. I'm Michelle Woodfork. Now, I'm not giddy or happy. I mean, you'd have to be a real jerk to be giddy or happy. And anyone who's smiling or high-fiving because this happened on, Hudson's watch is sick. But it does give Michelle Woodfork a big spike in potentially winning that sheriff's race because of the incompetence of the escape and the incompetence and lack of transparency post-escape, the delay, the endangering of the public, the poor media conference. 9 of these 10 violent criminals still on the loose. I'll keep you up to date in the 5 o'clock power hour. Audubon gutters. All they do are gutters. If you need paint or roofing work, siding, windows, don't call Audubon Gutters because all they do are gutters. But if you own a home or business and need gutters, AudubonGutters.com for nearly 35 years, New Orleans owned. AudubonGutters.com. I got those on my house with the leaf guard system. AudubonGutters.com. They did it back in October. Love the work they did. That's Blue Boy saying stick around and donate. HumaneLA.org.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube, on radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
It's 5 p.m.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com. My Sittu, that's Arabic for grandmother, used to make the best football kibbe. You can experience kibbe just like my grandmother used to make, and so many other Middle Eastern favorites on the streetcar line, Lebanon's Cafe.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on magazine, as unique as you.
Total maintenance keeps you cool. Total maintenance keeps you cool. Total maintenance keeps you cool. TM-AC.com, your cool spots. Total maintenance keeps you cool. TM-AC.com, your cool spots.
Ford F-150, #1 seller in America. What about in the USA? Let's see, what about in the world? Who sells more trucks than Ford? Nobody. It's because the Lamarck team is the real team. All that makes it happen is one goal. Everybody having a great experience at Lamarck Ford. We became #1 for a reason, because we're good. And we need to prove it every day, every deal, all the time.
Tired of cleaning your gutters? Improve the value and look of your home with Leaf Guard gutters. And you'll never have to clean your gutters again, ever. I guarantee it. Let Audubon Gutters install Leaf Guard gutters today. You'll improve the look and value of your home. And right now is the perfect time during Audubon Gutters 99-cent installation sale. Call 469-6494 now. Get out of that gutter and get on the phone. At Audubon Gutters.
It's time to relax. The Woodhouse Day Spa, Metro New Orleans' premier day spa experience, now with 5 area locations. For a day of relaxation or maybe just a quick 1-hour getaway, the Metro area's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa. And now 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and our newest location in Mandeville. The Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live. We live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love, more. When you do something, you have to do it right. It's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City.
Does Helm Paint have the best paint on the planet? Helm, yeah. We only sell Benjamin Moore, the world's finest paint. Because paint ain't paint. Let us steer you right. Helm Paint.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day. By river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Oh, yeah, here we go. 5 o'clock hour upon us. On a Fantasy Friday edition of the program, no less. I should say Fantasy Friday. It's a Fantasy Friday edition. 5 o'clock powwow also. Thank you, number 9, Mr. Drew Brees. I'm sure a first ballot NFL Hall of Famer. Fantasy Friday edition of the program. I mentioned it a few minutes ago. I like smelling the roses. I like putting the spotlight on this very moment. This very moment is a few minutes after 5 p.m. on a Friday. The entire weekend is in front of us. Pretty much every minute of it. And the entire work week for most of us in the books, history. We blow the 5 o'clock whistle. Toot, toot. We blow the 5 o'clock whistle a little after 5 to recognize this moment of the week. And it is appropriately brought to you by Katie's in Mid-City. Katie's in Mid-City, Iberville Corner, Tallahassee, a few blocks behind Angelo Bricato's ice cream joint on Carrollton. You know, I had Scott Craig on the program last Friday. I love getting him on and asking him, like, what did you bring in today, Scott? And he knows what I'm asking. Like, I got 18 soft shell crabs. I got 13 pompano. I got 16 speckled trout fillets. You know, like, hey, I got something really special. Some red snapper. 14 of them. I mean, like, when they're gone, they're gone. I mean, it's fresh. It's local. It's fantastic. It's as New Orleans as it gets. It's Katie's in Mid-City. Yeah, outdoor dining. The courtyard is incredible. The new courtyard, the patio. 2 air-conditioned floors, flat screen TVs, lots of New Orleans characters. Friday night, head on over to Katie's in Mid-City. Hey, the 5 o'clock whistle every Friday and the 5 o'clock powwow, celebrating this very moment where the work week's in the books and the weekend's in front of us. Appropriately brought to you by Katie's in Mid-City. Boy, it's a hot one out there, 90 degrees. Feels like 92.
It's sort of a rinse and repeat tomorrow, Sunday, maybe even into Monday, where we wake up high 70s, 76, 77, 78 to start the morning. And then the high temperatures hitting the low 90s for the next 2 or 3 days. And the feels like could, just depending on conditions, could feel like 100 plus. Right now it's 90, feels like 92. But it could be like 90, 91, 92, feels like 101. We'll see. It's going to be hot when, like I said last hour, like I say every day when it's hot in the summer, stay hydrated. Lots of H2O, lots of water. Some major breaking news on this Friday. 10 inmates escaped from the Orleans Parish Jail. They did it overnight, like midnight, 12:30. Escaped, went through a wall, a hole they had cut in a wall, got near the loading area, jumped a wall, ran across I-10 apparently. 10 violent criminals. The sheriff's office did not know about the escape until 8:30 a.m. Like, I'm just wondering how there isn't some like bed check at 5:30. Like, hey, we let them sleep in till 8:30. I don't know about you, but people that work for a living, I don't know the last time I woke up at 8:30. Seriously. I can't remember the last time I woke up at 8:30. Even on like a vacation in Florida, staying up late with friends. Can't remember the last time I woke up at 8:30. But the inmates, they're not checking on them until 8:30. So they're gone for 8 hours plus at that point. So instead of the sheriff's office freaking out because the you-know-what hit the fan big time, a big pile of you-know-what just hit the fan so hard it knocked the fan over. The blade's not spinning. There's so much of you-know-what hitting the fan. Does the sheriff immediately pick up the phone and call the NOPD, the FBI? Like, we find out at 8:30, 8:32, I'm calling the NOPD. Nope, not at all. The opposite. A full 2 hours later, 10:30 in the morning, the NOPD gets the call. We had 10 inmates escape the jail. The public doesn't know till 11 a.m. So the escape happened like 12:30, midnight. 10 and a half, almost 11 hours later, that's when the sheriff's department decides to let the public know. Or 2.5 hours after the sheriff's office finds out at 8:30 that 10 inmates have escaped. One of the 10 rearrested, 9 on the loose right now. The FBI is now involved. The New Orleans FBI office now involved in this, as they should be. The FBI actually issued the following statement. At the request of the New Orleans Police Department, FBI New Orleans has surged resources to assist with apprehending inmates who escaped from the Orleans Parish Jail. The FBI routinely offers assistance to our law enforcement partners to provide additional manpower and specialized resources. In addition, the FBI is offering a reward of up to $5,000 for tips leading to the arrest of any of the inmates. First off, none of these guys are like escaping, getting on a boat and going to Cuba. They'll all be caught. They'll all be caught within the next few days. And some of their accomplices on the outside, like family members, friends that are helping them right now, giving them a change of clothes, letting them stay at their place, giving them money, assisting them. They're going to be arrested too. And then there's going to be arrests within the Orleans Parish Sheriff's Department itself. Not Sheriff Susan Hudson, but jailers, deputies working the jail that assisted these criminals. So hopefully it's sooner than later. One of the 10 arrested, 9 still on the loose. And on the loose now, it's 5 o'clock for a good 17 hours now. 17 hours on the loose in New Orleans. Now, I had written on my show sheet, obviously, this crushes Sheriff Susan Hudson's re-election bid chances, but I don't know. In New Orleans, who knows? It might enhance it, sadly. No, the escape is just unacceptable and just shows she don't have control over her deputies, the jail. And then the way she handled it, the response, just not transparent, not acting quick, not being able to walk and chew gum at the same time, or choosing not to walk and chew gum at the same time, which is probably what went down. This isn't complicated. Wow, 8:30. 10 inmates have escaped. Let's call the NOPD, because the sheriff's department isn't sending out deputies in squad cars to find them. That isn't their job. The NOPD is. And the NOPD is desperate now that they've got the FBI involved, even with Troop Nola. Troop Nola is the one that got the first guy, Kendall Miles. He had escaped from the Bridge City Center for Youth. Carjacking. He carjacked 59-year-old Scott Toops in Uptown back in 2022, indicted on attempted murder and carjacking charges. He shot Toops twice and fled in his vehicle. These are violent, insane criminals. They need to be caught. They will be apprehended. But the sheriff, Susan Hudson, allowing it, and then the way the Post, handling after the fact, atrocious. No, I mean, in any normal society, she would be toast. No chance of being reelected. But in New Orleans, Louisiana, who knows? Hey, Art and Eyes on Magazine, they're open today. They're open tomorrow, and they're open on Sunday. Yeah, Art and Eyes open on Sunday. What's Art and Eyes? An eyewear boutique that has some of the finest eyeglasses anywhere. Something you wouldn't find but in like San Francisco, New York, Paris. It's that nice. And here's the best part. This is what I love about it. Name brands you've never heard of. And that's a good thing, because the name brands we grew up with that were high quality, like Revo, Persol, Ray-Ban, I've owned them all. They're all owned by Luxottica. Mafia-owned, Chinese-made garbage. It's all downgraded. It's not very good. You want to see, touch, feel, put on, and right away you'll go, Corey is exactly right. This is high-quality eyewear. All different price points. If you wear prescription glasses like me, if you need a great pair of prescription sunglasses or just regular sunglasses, do yourself a favor before you go waste money somewhere else. Go to Art and Eyes on Magazine. You'll be glad you did. Eyewear that's as unique as you. High quality eyewear. Art and Eyes on Magazine. Google them.
Total maintenance keeps you cool. Total maintenance. Total maintenance keeps you cool. Total maintenance. Total maintenance keeps you cool. TM-AC.com, your cool spots. Total maintenance keeps you cool. TM-AC.com, your cool spots.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day. By river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com. Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Some people think paint is paint. Well, it ain't. Paint ain't paint. At Helm Paint, we only sell Benjamin Moore because it's the best paint on the planet. In the end, you'll save time, effort, and money because Benjamin Moore paints cover beautifully in less coats. So the next time you pick up a brush, remember, big box, big mistake. Because paint ain't paint. To get the best, you gotta go to Helm. Let us steer you right. Helm Paint.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamar Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We do in all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
Greater New Orleans, a destination for learning. With 13 colleges and universities and a booming job market, Greater New Orleans is the ultimate destination for your higher education. Your path to the future begins in Greater New Orleans. Find out more at studynola.com.
Scott Craig of Katie's Restaurant.
All of my ingredients are fresh. Nothing comes out of a can here. Nothing. All of our seafood is Louisiana. All of our vegetables are Louisiana vegetables. It's a neighborhood restaurant.
Katie's in Mid-City.
Hey, let's save some cats and dogs, huh? Literally. Go to humanela.org. At the top of the page, you'll see me laying under a blanket with Blue Boy on the sofa. Click on that, and then you can donate to our fundraiser. We're trying to raise $10,000 in the month of May for the Humane Society of Louisiana. We're like north of $8,000 shy of reaching that goal, and we're more than halfway through the month of May. So we should be at like $5,500 or something right now. We still have to raise so that would mean we have like 4,000 left, 4,500 left. We got like over 8,000 to go. So please go to the website. If you're a cat or dog owner, an animal lover, I promise you, Jeff Dorson and the crew at the Humane Society of Louisiana are saving animals' lives. HumaneLA.org is how you donate. HumaneLA.org. Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Hot out there. The big story, 10 inmates escaping from the Orleans Parish Jail. Susan Hudson's in trouble in re-election. I've talked about this in the past, just this learning on the fly mentality, all the incompetence, all the deviant behavior, hiring this female friend of hers and then hiring the son. But one was making like 180 grand, the other like 120,000. Couldn't figure out what they were doing. Kristen Morales, who gets fired from the Office of Inspector General for theft, and then sues, because of saying she was wrongly fired, and loses, goes to the ethics board about the firing, loses. I mean, first off, while all that was going on, she's already working full-time for the sheriff's department. She gets fired. Within 24 hours, Susan Hudson hires Kristen Morales, who was fired for theft, and makes her like her number 2. And
We end up finding out that Susan Hudson and Kristen Morales are very good friends. They live together, shared an apartment, were roommates. Some say they might have even been romantically involved, which I don't care about that. But the point is that they're tight. They're friends. So she hires her friend, hires the woman who's a friend and the son. They make six figures in a city where people are struggling to make 40, 50, 60 grand a year, a family of four, having to live in a part of the city they'd rather not live in because rent's $1,000 instead of $1,800 or $2,000 in the part of town where they'd like to live. But that's $800 a month. That's 10 grand a year. They need that money for themselves, their kids. So, I mean, there's people struggling in New Orleans. We're not a, prosperous city with a booming economy. We're stagnant. A lot of service industry jobs. A lot of people earning their money paycheck to paycheck, have to show up to work. Susan Hudson hires a bunch of jokers that make, 4, 5, 6 times what the average New Orleanian's making and not working. Now, I mentioned the disc jockey guy that switched from being a disc jockey to talk radio because he's like in radio, he can just do it. And not very good at talk radio, doesn't prepare, just wings it every day, makes a lot of assumptions, says something on Monday, the opposite on Wednesday, no depth, no historical references. And then coupled with kind of a deviant, no honor, no pride, always on the wrong side, always contrary, doesn't like the office of Inspector General, doesn't like Raphael Goyeneche and the Metropolitan Crime Commission, doesn't like the folks that are the watchdogs that look out for us, but then likes the deviants, like has the mayor on the show all the time and just kisses her butt and softball questions. And it's just a big yuck fest, laughing and joking. Has Susan Hudson on the show all the time. Same thing. Big ass kissing, yuck fest, softball questions, and always a positive. Susan Hudson hires this guy. The radio station's not making money with this guy. The show's not gaining traction. The audience doesn't respond to the advertisers, or there are no advertisers. The guy doesn't do any live endorsements for advertisers. He's like a talk radio host, just talking and not knowing what he's talking about. And obviously that doesn't gain traction, doesn't have a good reputation. They're not making money off of him. So the station's going to let him go. He's done. He's toast. Susan Hudson finds out, hires him full-time at the sheriff's office. But somehow they work out a deal where he remains on at the station. I guess the station's like, wow, he's going to work for free? Or we just pay him some minimal amount? Great, no problem. But there's a slight problem there as far as, You're supposed to be going on as a talk show host, yet you're a full-time Orleans Parish Sheriff's Department employee with benefits, working for Susan Hudson, who you're having on the show and praising her and asking her softball questions and kissing her rear end. Yet you're not telling anyone that, hey, by the way, I work full-time for this lady. She gave me a job when I was getting let go at the radio station. Radio station's allowing me to continue doing the show. But my money, my income, my full-time job is with the Orleans Parish Sheriff's Department. So this is what Susan Hudson's about. Going to hire someone with no sheriff or law enforcement experience. Going to make up a job for him. Pay him a good salary. I'm sure the guy makes 60, 70, 80 grand plus. Who knows? He might make 6 figures. Easily might make 6 figures. This is Susan Hudson, her reputation. This guy is a talk radio show host. She hires him full-time to do who knows what, probably does nothing, makes the salary, but she's guaranteed that this guy's going to, work for her and kiss her rear end on the air. That's Sheriff Susan Hudson. All of these are facts. None of this is made up. I don't have anything against Susan Hudson personally. I could care less. I don't know the woman. I just care about public officials, elected officials that are supposed to be civic-minded, that are supposed to be doing their job. And she's not doing her job. She's probably incapable of doing it, just doesn't have the wherewithal to do it, doesn't have the drive or motivation to do it, probably lazy, just wants to get by, get away with what she can instead of what can I build, what can I avoid is more the mentality. And then under her watch, 10 violent criminals escape under her nose at the jail she runs. right under her nose. And then when she finds out about it, she doesn't alert the NOPD for 2 long hours and doesn't alert the public for 2.5. When she knows by this time, those criminals have been on the street for 11 hours. And then has a media press conference and doesn't take questions from the media. And then has one a few hours later and only accepts one question from each media member. Just lack of transparency, deviant behavior, incompetence. Just terrible. Now the FBI is involved. Troop Nola caught one of the 10 in the French Quarter, hiding under a vehicle. Now 9 of the 10 still on the loose. 7 of the 9 have murder charges. So these are violent criminals. That's why the FBI is involved and other law enforcement agencies, besides Troop Nola and, of course, the NOPD. But, boy, the incompetence of this sheriff, coupled with how she handled it after the fact, is just terrible. And that's what you have to remember, that, you know, when I get my system in by 2037, we'll have this jail run smoothly. We don't have time for learning on the fly. We need experienced law enforcement folks that ideally know how to run a jail being our sheriff, not someone winging it with hyper woke, loony, progressive, crazy ideas. You know, we don't call them inmates. We call them, you know, friendly visitors, you know, just crazy stuff. So no, there's an election coming up and who knows how it'll go. I stopped worrying about it too much. I just kind of tell it like it is. And it's beyond my control. I don't get worked up like when I was 25 or 30 or 35 years old. I'm older now, experienced, understand that I don't control any of this. So why would I be illogical, irrational, and get mentally worked up or disappointed in the voters of New Orleans and Louisiana? They disappoint every election a lot of the time. So I don't worry about that. All I can tell you is the message. The inmates escaping is alarming and just yells of incompetence and in over your head. But what's worse, arguably, at least for her, is how she handled it after the fact. Waiting to let the NOPD know when it's so important to let them know right away. Waiting to let the public know even longer when it's important to let them know right away. Not knowing until 8:30 in the morning when they escaped at midnight, 12:30, like 7.5, 8 hours earlier. 8.5 hours earlier they escaped. And then having a press conference where you don't take questions, having a press conference where later you only take one question from the media members. No, it's just glaring. Will an escape happen again? Who knows? But something bad under this sheriff's watch will happen again. And then the incompetence will be exposed as to why it happened. And then the excuse making will come out and the delays of notifying the proper people and putting the public at risk. All this will happen again. So the lack of transparency, the way she operates, the shooting from the hip, the selfish setting up friends and family, this should all be obvious now that Susan Hudson just simply does not have what it takes to be sheriff in the city of New Orleans. But that's obvious. That's obvious. But, you know, in New Orleans and Louisiana, we love black and white and Republican and Democrat. We embrace it. We cut off our nose to spite our own face. We embrace it so strongly. Hey, every day, this program brought to you by the Lamarck Automotive Complex in Kenner and Lamarck Crescent City Ford in Elmwood on Jefferson Highway. Ronnie Lamarck from Araby Park, getting it done.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
There's a Middle Eastern restaurant that's less than 5 minutes from where Causeway and River Road meet, Lebanon's Cafe. Convenient to Old Metairie and Old Jefferson. Carrollton at Jeanette on the streetcar line, Lebanon's Cafe. The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Does Helm Paint have the best paint on the planet? Helm, yeah. We only sell Benjamin Moore, the world's finest paint. Because paint ain't paint. Let us steer you right. Helm Paint.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes, a magazine as unique as you.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live, we live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love, more. When you do something, you have to do it right. You know, it's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamar Automotive Complex, there's something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We do in all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
There he is, Ronnie Lamar from Araby Park. Corey Johnson back at you on a Fantasy Friday edition of the program. I don't know, as a Louisiana native, this is just heartbreaking to me, and this is unacceptable. Nottoway Plantation in White Castle, pretty much destroyed. They've got a little bit of the facade in the front, like very little. And you've got some chimneys, brick chimneys still in place. The rest of the 3-story building's just gone. And it's sickening. It's sickening. It's unacceptable. This building is from 1859. It's 166 years old. It's historic. Once it's gone for good. No, it's beyond sad. We have these historic national treasures. How are there not, fire suppression systems at all of these antebellum plantation homes all up and down the Mississippi River in Louisiana? Because they're irreplaceable. How are there not fire suppression systems? Yeah, I talked about it yesterday. The Miro Foundation, those vultures, those corrupt folks that surrounded that, from, Gutierrez, Jack Stevens, all these jokers. The LeBeau Plantation by Domino Sugar, allowing that to burn to the ground like 10 years ago. All they needed was a chain link fence and some motion detectors. Spend a little more money and encapsulate the building. Really? You got $250 million in that Miro account? Redo the building, give it to the parish, make it a library, part of, city government, something. Instead, it's gone. It burned to the ground. It's gone. Irreplaceable from the 1850s. Sickening. Nottoway Plantation, largest plantation in the South, pretty much burned to the ground. No, it's sickening. If you're a New Orleanian or Louisianian, it's sickening. And if anyone out there that's black, that's like that's part of slavery and history, I'm glad it's gone. There's something wrong with you, because slavery was so long ago. And when I think of those plantation houses, and most people, black or white, slavery's not like the first thing you're going to think of. You're going to think of, wow, look how old, 1859, irreplaceable. Now these houses have been repurposed, and they're bed and breakfasts or museums, or they're cultural. And they send a message like, yeah, this was a slave plantation. That's how insane and crazy and wrong things were in America, and still are in a lot of ways. I'm a white male heterosexual. The skids are greased for me. I get it. Female, black, Asian, Latino, homosexual. Go on and on. Overweight. I have an advantage over all those people, generally speaking, unfairly. But also, I'm in radio and television. So, like, white male heterosexuals dominated this field. Now, all things equal, I'm going to lose out to everyone I just mentioned. All things equal, I'm going to lose out to the female, the gay person, the dark-skinned person, the person with a foreign-sounding name, black, minority, gay, whatever. I'm going to lose out to them. And I don't care. That's just the world kind of straighten itself out. And I'm ready to compete against anybody and do my thing. But no, the black folks that are like Nottoway, slave plantation, glad it's gone. There's something wrong with you, seriously. Because it's 2025. It ceased being a slave plantation 150, 170 years ago. Almost 160 years ago. It's been repurposed long ago. So I know what it represents, and I'm not trying to downplay slavery and the sickness of it and how evil it was at all. The opposite. But I look at this just as a Louisianian, as a New Orleanian, an old historic building. And to see it burn to the ground is so disheartening, and it's unacceptable, and it's so preventative. It should have never happened. Hey, legislature, you're still in session. Don't wait till next year. Make it a law. Assist the folks that there are only so many of these houses, so many of these plantations. They have to have a halon system, some type of water system, whatever it is, a fire suppression system to keep any of these places from being gutted and burned to the ground like Nottoway. No, it's sickening. I don't even like looking at the photos. I did today because I had to, but it's depressing. The owners are talking about rebuilding. I hope they do. I hope they make it exactly like it was, and it'll never be, hey, it's from 1859. I guess they could say some parts of it are. Very few. I would say what's left, less than 10% of the building. A little bit of the facade, some chimneys. Sickening. Should have never happened. Should have never happened. And we can't let it ever happen again in Louisiana. Fire suppression systems. Pretty simple. That's what's so sinful about the Miro folks with the $250 million. These vultures that just are trying to gobble up Joe Miro's estate for personal gain. The LeBeau Plantation, they weren't even thinking about it. I'm not even a St. Bernard resident. I used to go check it out. I actually had an appointment to visit Joe Miro when he was alive, and these vultures wouldn't let me go see him. It was crazy. True story. No, they didn't fence it in. They didn't put motion detectors. They didn't have any kind of fire suppression system. They didn't have it boarded up properly, and some vagrants went in there, started a fire, and burned it to the ground. Sinful to allow something like that to fall apart, to be destroyed. I went to Lebanon's Cafe earlier this week, got a to-go order. I think it was Wednesday. Last Sunday, I was there on Mother's Day with my mom and brother. Lebanon's Cafe, lamb chop, shish kebab, all your favorite Middle Eastern sides, some of the finest Middle Eastern food anywhere. Carrollton at Jeanette by the streetcar barn. Lebanon's Cafe, priced right, large portions, fresh, authentic, convenient to a lot of folks. Uptown, Mid-City, Old Jefferson, Old Metairie. Yeah, 5 minutes from where Causeway hits River Road, you Old Jefferson, Old Metairie folks. Lebanon's Cafe by the streetcar barn. By the way, open 7 days a week. They open up at 11 a.m. They go straight through till 9:30. They're open right now. They never close. 11 a.m. till 9:30 nightly. I like the 9:30 nightly. You can get in there late at Lebanon's Cafe. Our Humane May fundraiser continues. Go to the website right now, please, and donate. We're so far behind. We should have like $5,500 raised. We got like 1,400 raised. We're like 4,000 behind pacing. I don't know how we're going to raise 8,000 plus bucks. I got 10 more shows after today, 5 next week and 5 after that. And then May is gone. Going to have to raise like $800 a show to hit the $8,000. We are shy of hitting the $10,000 goal. So please help out. Let's chip away at it right now. Go to the website, humanela.org, and donate. humanela.org. Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Big story of the day. 10 inmates escaped the Orleans Parish jail overnight. If that's not bad enough, the sheriff's department doesn't realize it until 8:30. You don't have a head count at like 5:30, 6 a.m., 8:30? Hey, we're letting the inmates sleep in late. I can't remember the last time I woke up at 8:30. How about you working class people that work and earn your money, Can you remember the last time you woke up at 8:30? Then what's worse, this sheriff, Susan Hudson, doesn't notify the NOPD for 2 full hours till 10:30. So they find out at 8:30. They don't know when they escaped. It ended up being midnight. So by the time they notify the NOPD, these violent criminals have been on the streets of New Orleans for over 10 hours. They don't notify the public, the sheriff's office, till 11 a.m. And then the lame press conference. The sheriff comes out, makes a statement, and then leaves. Allows no questions from the media. What a joke. Comes back a few hours later, has a press conference, allows one question from certain media members, and then leaves. She made an incredible revelation that people inside the sheriff's department must be involved. You think so? Thank you, doctor. The FBI now involved. Troop Nola arrested one of the 10 in the French Quarter earlier today. 9 of the 10 still on the loose. 7 of those 9, murder charges. Some multiple murders. No, dangerous criminals. Jason Williams, other law enforcement say they're armed and dangerous. Antoine Massey, Lenton Van Buren, Leo Tate, Derek Groves, Jermon Donald, Corey Boyd, Gary Price, Robert Moody, DeCannon Dennis, or Denis. Not good. And the sheriff, it happening under her watch, horrible, unacceptable, coupled with how she handled it after. Not notifying the NOPD. All these criminals are out there, not notifying the public. Just dangerous. Not competent, not transparent. That should be enough where this sheriff doesn't get reelected, coupled with all the other gaffes. Like I mentioned, the talk show host in New Orleans, that does a talk show that was about to be let go because the show doesn't generate money for the station at all. They have no advertisers, no money being generated. The sheriff finds out because the sheriff's a regular guest and gets her ass kissed by this host who sold out years ago. No integrity, no honor, no pride. Finds out the guy's going to get canned. The sheriff hires him full time and he keeps the radio gig because I guess he's working for free. Still has the sheriff on kissing her ass. Full-time sheriff's department employee with no experience. Typical. The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Scott Craig of Katie's Restaurant.
All of my ingredients are fresh. Nothing comes out of a can here. Nothing. All of our seafood is Louisiana. All of our vegetables are Louisiana vegetables. It's a neighborhood restaurant.
Katie's in Mid-City.
Some people think paint is paint. Well, it ain't. Paint ain't paint. At Helm Paint, we only sell Benjamin Moore because it's the best paint on the planet. In the end, you'll save time, effort, and money because Benjamin Moore paints cover beautifully in less coats. So the next time you pick up a brush, remember, big box, big mistake. Because paint ain't paint. To get the best, you gotta go to Helm. Let us steer you right. Helm Paint.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Tired of cleaning your gutters? Improve the value and look of your home with Leaf Guard gutters. And you'll never have to clean your gutters again, ever. I guarantee it. Let Audubon Gutters install Leaf Guard gutters today. You'll improve the look and value of your home. And right now is the perfect time during Audubon Gutters' 99-cent installation sale. Call 469-6494 now. Get out of that gutter and get on the phone. At Audubon Gutters.
Total maintenance keeps you cool. TM-AC.com, your cool spots. TM-AC.com, your cool spots.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes, a magazine as unique as you.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com. Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen. If you're going to the North Shore right now, why don't you fire in a to-go order at Trey Yen? You don't have plans? You're heading home? What are we going to do for dinner? Mom, dad, the kids, everyone's happy when you walk in the house with a big to-go order box from Trey Yen. Don't forget the Tong Cho sauce, curbside delivery. You're on the causeway right now, fire in a to-go order. Pull right out in front. You don't even leave your vehicle. They walk it right out to your car. Trey Yen in Mandeville. Better yet, dine in. North Shore folks, you know where it's at. Foot of the causeway in Mandeville. South Shore folks, don't let the North Shore thing scare you away. 25 minutes from Lakeside Shopping Center to the front door at Trey Yen. There's no driving on the North Shore. Right when you cross the causeway, immediately on your left, Chinese cuisine heaven, Trey Yen in Mandeville. Get there tonight. Yeah, I love that Tong Cho sauce. Spicy, sweet, so damn good. A Tong Cho, or I should say a Trey Yen original, that Tong Cho sauce. Boy, the sheriff just doesn't stop. Now she's blaming faulty locks. Always excuses. It's not her. Blaming someone else. I wrote to the consent decree folks. I wrote to the city. I talked about these faulty locks at this jail. Marlon Gusman, the former sheriff, says the facility is state of the art. It's essentially new. It's a few years old. It's less than a decade old. It's a state of the art jail. The locks aren't a problem. Now, the problem is inside folks. Other experts are saying the only way this happened are jailers, employees of Susan Hudson, sheriff deputies working the jail. Somebody had to assist the prisoners in this escape. What we hope doesn't happen, because there are 9 violent criminals still out there. What they do is crime. So they're going to commit crime. Let's hope in the next few hours, half day or so at worst, they're all apprehended. But there are 9 of them. It could, I think a few are going to get apprehended the next day or so. And then there are going to be a few stragglers that stretch it out for a few days. Hopefully not, because they're going to be committing crime. Let's hope no one gets hurt. But the bottom line, the end of the day, hopefully if no one gets hurt, the end of the day, it'll be these 10 idiots. One of them already rearrested. The other 9 rearrested in jail. Another crime, the escape added on to their sentence. Probably never see the light of day, half of them anyway. It's second-degree murder charges on most of them. They're all going to go to jail. Some sheriff department employees under Susan Hudson are going to be indicted and go to jail for assisting these idiots in this escape. And then some family members or friends of these criminals that are helping them right now. There'll be a picture by the ATM machine where auntie or a brother or sister or mother or friend is pulling cash out to give to the criminal. There'll be a photo, video of them going in and out of a store with somebody. There'll be family and friends of these criminals also arrested for aiding and abetting, for helping them, for assisting them, evade capture from police, harboring criminals. So these idiots are going to be arrested. Some sheriff department employees are going to be arrested. And some people out on the street right now, family, friends that are helping the criminals, they're going to be arrested as well. Now, all we can hope for right now is that these 9 are arrested quickly and they commit no crimes, especially any crimes that hurt any of us out there. I'm just in shock. The escape is shocking, but the way the sheriff handled things afterwards is so telling. I've told this story about a friend of mine's brother. He accidentally lit a sofa cushion on fire, like a pillow. And right away he's like, oh my God, mom is going to freak, but one of her favorite pillows. So he's already panicked. So he tries to put it out. It catches the sofa cushion on fire. And now it's, my God, the pillow and the sofa cushion, I'm screwed. So he starts trying to put it out. The drape catches on fire, burns down like part of the house. It just could have tossed the pillow out the window and it probably would have just solved the problem. Instead of Susan Hudson doing what's right. I mean, WDSU Channel 6 has a great timeline of this situation. At like 9:53, they got like a tip that there was a prison escape. At 9:55, like 2 minutes later, they're calling the NOPD and sheriff's office to inquire about the escape. So Channel 6 is doing their job. They get a tip. 2 minutes later, they're making the call. The sheriff finds out at 8:30 that there's an escape. At 8:31, 8:32, the NOPD should have been notified. Instead, 2 hours of waiting before the NOPD is notified. And Kirkpatrick's mentioned it. It's all excuse making. Hudson says we were evaluating the situation, didn't want to react on the fly, all this. You got to react on the fly. Do you know what's hitting the fan? An experienced jailer or sheriff would have immediately called the police. And an experienced sheriff or jailer wouldn't have an 8:30 first check in the morning. 8:30? How about 5:30? Let's get these folks, fed and get them to work. Crazy. No, the escape is a major black eye. The way the sheriff handled it after the fact even made the situation much worse. Endangered citizen showed her, incompetence, lack of caring, selfish nature. No, anywhere in a normal society, this would crush her chances of reelection. And it probably does, but it's New Orleans and it's Louisiana, where people are so obsessed with black, white, Republican, Democrat and cling to it with all their might, where they get burns on their hand. Who knows what's going to happen? But I would think Michelle Woodfork just got a huge boost and will probably be the next sheriff. What's that, Blue Boy? They need someone like you, a basset hound with that super sensitive nose, to hunt down these 9 violent criminals, 7 of them wanted for murder. Hunt them down before they cause some problem. You're right, Blue Boy. Hopefully they have some basset hound, bloodhound type dogs like you seeking them out. Have a great weekend, New Orleans. See you Monday at 4.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333.
Hey, don't forget,
also on YouTube, on radio
Go
at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
It's 6 p.m.